My name is Larry Plummer, and I've been a lifelong resident of Germantown, Maryland. Over 80 years, I'm 80 years old, and I've been a proud member of Mother Seton Parish for over 50 years, for the 50 years it's been in existence. And I've really loved being a part of this parish and being a part of this community. I think building of the new parish center and then building of the church itself, the church actually hosting my mother's 100th birthday celebration. That was really an occasion. By the time she got to 18, she got married to my father, Garnet Plummer, and they raised 3 kids on that estate for 12 years before moving to the new location on 118 and Millbrook Road. When Father Hurley came back to help celebrate, the county exec was here, and it was a really beautiful affair. My sister, brother, funerals and mother's funeral services were held here, and they were done with such great taste, and you never forget those kinds of things. Well, and as far as the blacks were concerned, we did have and were very lucky to have my sister Doris Hacker, who was on the parish council. She decided to resurrect the Mother's St. Rita's group, and the St. Rita's group. What she wanted to accomplish was to bring some blackness to the church, because at the time blacks were about 5% of the church, and we wanted to kind of instill some of our culture into the church. And through St. Rita's group, we thought we could do that. One of the first things that she did and we did as a group was to organize and to have a Black History program in February, which turned out to be very, very successful. The first few programs were overflowing with people, and we went. The Garble Gospel Singers, which I was part of, actually wanted that to happen as well, because the gospel singers, we were interdenominational. There were Baptists on my choir, there were Methodists, Independents, and Catholics, about 6 or 7 Catholics in that group. And we sang at all of these other churches all the time. And we said, well, why not have these folks come to our church and bring a little black culture there? So through my sister, we established that through the Black History program, and we sang, and we brought some of those groups from the other churches there. And it was a really great time for us, and a lot of people came to those programs. A time that was interesting was back in 1954, when the Supreme Court ruled that integrations would have to come to be. My brothers and my younger brother and all the black Catholics then were allowed to attend the Catholic school in Gaithersburg up until the 8th grade, so that was a big thing for them. The Catholics back then, prior to that decision, used to sit in the back of the church, and they used to receive the communion last, believe it or not. But once that decision came down, and people got relaxed and started to just sit anywhere. It took a while though, but because you kind of was used to sitting back there, you just stayed back there for a while. It took a while, but that was one of the things that I can remember as a young adult growing up. I come from a very religious background. My mother was really, really a very religious person, and it took a while, but it, you know, when you're a teenager, I don't want to go to church, but they gave me an ultimatum. You go to church or get out. So I said, I think I'll go to church. So I think my religious background now has been instilled to the point where it's part of my life, and it's part of my family's life. And we try to pass that on to the next generation, which is kind of difficult right now. But as far as my generation, my brothers and sisters, they all belong here to Mother Seton. I had 2 brothers and a sister and several nephews and nieces who belong to this church. One brother has passed on, and so is my sister and my mother and father. They all were buried here. Funeral services were here. Very wonderful services. And I'm still grateful for how they presented that funeral service. So those things stays in your head. That they look out for you when you're in times of need, and I'll never forget it.